Welcome aboard Skylark Outdoors here, and today we're reviewing the Tahoe LTZ Pontoon. This is the Tahoe LTZ 2585. There's a lot of different variations of Tahoe pontoons, but the LTZ lineup pretty similar with just some different configurations in the rear, and this is called the Quad Lounger configuration. Now, some unique things about the Tahoe LTZ pontoon are that you actually have a live well, that's that rear box underneath that tow hook, and then the quad loungers, you can see those are convertible, so you can face forwards or rearwards with those seats and then flip that headrest over. So kind of a unique pontoon, and then it is 25 feet, and so you've got two loungers in the rear and then two loungers in the front, so it gives you a lot of space to lay out, sunbathe, as well as have a lot of company. We're going to go over the features of this first, and then I'm going to go through the specifications. So both of these rear benches, you can open up those hatches for storage, life jackets. This hatch here, you can have a porta toilet and kind of like a pop-up screen, so if nature calls while on duty, you can do that. And then you also have there, if you just wanted the tent kind of thing for privacy. So it's a little tent and you can have a porta toilet in there if you wanted to use the restroom. So you've got storage underneath those loungers there. The quad lounger, because you have four loungers, you've got plenty of cup holders through this, and then you can see we've got our two captain's chairs on posts, and you also have a post in the rear for putting a table in if you would like, and then you've got this seat in the front that's optional. They've got this one covering that front area, which can also be a door to go in and out. Here you've got the controls, so single throttle, single engine, you've got your steering wheel. Nice captain chairs with armrests. Those are going to swivel, your fire extinguisher there. In terms of this boat, pretty comfortable. You've got a lot of space for a 25-foot pontoon. I like how well it's used, so you can fit a lot of people on this particular pontoon. You've got two driver's seats. I would say you could fit 2 or 3 people on each one of these loungers. So 2 or 3 people in the front loungers, each, and then 2 or 3 on each one of those loungers. Here's your fish box in the back, and then your tow hook for water sports. This one is powered with 200 horsepower Suzuki. I like the black color on this, kind of cool. Suzuki reliable engines, but you've got all kinds of power options. You've got rear facing speakers, and then you can see we've got that fish box in the rear, so that's the live well. These are tri-tune pontoons, so you're going to get additional flotation on the Tahoe LTZ pontoon. They've got a nice gate here, and then you've got overhead. That's going to be your shade canopy. So you can have a front door here. They've got the extra seat installed rather than having that open front door. But you've got a little bit of a swim platform, jump off platform, layout platform in the front. And then you have that larger sports platform in the rear. I like that for putting something like a tube in the rear. However, one thing you need to be aware of with this particular model and pontoons in general is if you've got little kids, a lot of people, a lot of grandparents buy these, a lot of families buy pontoons, there's no gate in the rear to block your kids from kind of just running out in this rear area. So I think that's an option you could maybe use, or maybe look at a different layout. The LTZ Tahoe pontoons have a whole bunch of different layouts, and I think there's a couple that allow you to have a gate in the rear. This one optimizes that rear platform, and you've got the live well. So it's more of a fishing style boat and more of an adult centric platform, and kind of fun place to, I guess, dance around, hang out here in the back. If you want to be out in the sun, that's nice that you've got that option there in the back. More of a large open concept, versus some have a more closed-in concept and a gate. So if you've got little kids that can't just run off the back, they're kind of fenced in by the shielding and fence of the pontoons themselves. With this one, that's not the case. You've got the ropes in the rear, but that does make it easy for getting on and off, managing water sports, throwing a tube on there really easy without it impeding kind of what you're doing on the pontoon. So just something to be aware of. This one would be a nice spot, a nice layout to be able to fish from, because you do have the live well. You've got a nice fishing spot in the rear, and then you've got some fishing in the front, and then you've got these chairs here that can also rotate, the captain's chairs, and full adjustment up and down with those. So let's go into some of the specifications of the Tahoe LTZ. Quad Lounger 2585 is what the model is, and you can see there's also fish finders built on here, but you can add that. You could add, if you wanted, also any kind of trolling motor or anything you wanted on here as well. The Tahoe LTZ 2585 Quad Lounger. A couple of thoughts on this and just where you're at. So the pontoon itself, no power, is $43,641, and then you go up with power, you're going to go up in price. So with a 200 horsepower engine, which is what I believe this one has on it, you're right around $71,000 for the pontoon. And what you're going to get in terms of performance out of a $71,000 pontoon with 200 horsepower is about 33 to 42 miles an hour top speed based on your loading, which is plenty fast enough. A lot of little ski boats, that's kind of their range that they go in anymore. The 20-foot and under ski boats, that's right around where a lot of them sit at, is at 33 to 42. So plenty of speed to tow a tube, probably even a lighter weight skier, maybe even wakeboard behind. You're not going to wake surf behind this, but definitely could probably wakeboard. I don't know what the pickup is, but that is a high enough top speed to be able to do that. And most of the time with wakeboards, you can get up easily with pretty low speeds, even larger individuals. Water ski is a little bit different, but also has to do with the weight of the skier, strength of the skier, and the conditions on the lake, as well as the width of the skis. So 43,000 no engine, 71,200 horsepower. Then you've got 81,000 for a 300 horsepower engine, and that's going to get you a top speed around 45 to 55 miles an hour. It's 95,000 for a 350 horsepower engine on the rear, and then 102,000 for a 400 horsepower, and 161,000 for a 500 horsepower pontoon boat. So, and then you can have a 38-gallon tank. So if you're looking just to have a fun time with, let's say, the grandkids or the family around the lake, I think probably 200 horsepower is going to do you pretty good. For most days, if you've got 4 people on there, 2 adults, 2 kids, this thing's going to go pretty well. If you're going to have a bigger party, I would probably size up to the 300 horsepower. You're getting a third more horsepower for $10,000 additional dollars. And then probably the max I would personally go would be the next one up, 350 horsepower. That's $95,000. But you're probably not going to notice a big of a performance jump as you will from 300 to 350 as you would from 200 to 300 horsepower. So I think you get the most value out of that jump. And then you're at 102 for 400 horsepower. The 500 horsepower, 161,000, I think really, at that point, maybe consider a different style of boat, different type of boat. Horsepower on boats, it's kind of like an exponential thing. It requires exponential more horsepower for each mile faster that you go. So it's pretty easy to get most boats up to right around that 40 mile an hour range. But then once you try and go faster and faster, you have wind resistance, water resistance, and a lot of other hydrodynamic issues that you're dealing with, where it requires more and more and more horsepower to go faster per mile. So really, I think the sweet spot on this particular boat, in my opinion, would be a 200 to 300 horsepower power plant on the back, and I think you're going to get a lot of value and use out of that. And I think if you're looking to go faster than that, then maybe a pontoon is not really the right boat for you. That's just my thought on it. Or there are some purpose-built pontoons which are designed to go faster. So it really comes down to what your goals are, what you want to do. With this, having that rear open and you hit a wave going really fast, I think you just need to have mature people on here that aren't going to be bouncing around too much, because you don't want anyone to go flying out the back. They've got some little ropes there. I think this layout's really cool for what it offers, but for responsible boaters, I really wouldn't want to have kids or something like that on here where they could just kind of walk out the back, or it's only a step or two and there's not really anything keeping them in there. That being said, look at the other layouts for the Tahoe LTZ. There's plenty of them that have a gate in the rear, so maybe that fits what you want to do with this boat better. And this is the LTZ Quad Lounger. They've got some that have like a rear U-shape or L-shaped bench in the back and then a gate, so it's kind of enclosed here in the back rather than having the open end. You just sacrifice a little bit less of the swim platform. And then they've got an LTZ in a couple different sizes. I believe there's a 22 foot, and then the 25 foot, and then just different sizes for each one of the Tahoe lineups and Tahoe pontoon boats. Now, we did another video on a Tahoe pontoon that I think had twin 400 or 500 power plant on it, and that pontoon was designed to go, I think, upwards of 70 miles an hour, which is pretty crazy on a pontoon. So just something to consider if you are looking at one of these. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the Tahoe LTZ Pontoon 2585. We hope you enjoyed. Please give us that thumbs up, subscribe, and click any links below if you want to support us. And we'll see you next time.